But let's get into the match review from yesterday. Obviously, 3-1 win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I think there was a good vibe around the stadium yesterday. There's a good vibe around Tottenham, and I think it's growing, this kind of confidence within the fan base, within the team, that we can actually achieve something this year. And I think it's showing on the pitch as well. Conte alluded to saying that the squad is a bit more complete now. And that as well is showing on the pitch. I thought that first half yesterday, some of the football we were playing was absolutely scintillating stuff. One-touch football, progressive passes into the final third, getting chances after chances. I thought to see Sonny back was really good, and I thought he had a really positive performance. Christian Romero, to see him back, Conte said he was like a new signing, and he really was. I mean, let's talk about Conte. I mean, let's talk about Christian Romero, because I thought he was a cut above the rest in the defence. He was aggressive, he was calm, he was composed. His decision-making to step out and to challenge players, his hard challenges on Lamptey and a few other players as well. I mean, it's just so good to see him playing again, isn't it?
Yeah, and what I love about him is as well, not only is he really aggressive and, as you say, like he always goes full-blooded into challenges. When he's coming into a challenge, you see like forwards like shit themselves a bit, and he always comes out on top, Romero. But what I love about him is in tight defensive situations where he wins the ball, where you expect maybe less defenders to just boot it clear and just get rid of it, you know, safety first, when in doubt, kick out kind of stuff. He always is very calm. He doesn't mind if he's got a player pressing him. He doesn't mind if he's in the penalty area with players around him. He always look for the pass, and he always be very composed, and he always usually finds it. His passing seemed pretty decent yesterday, and a few times he was able to pick out a pass in a tight situation, which allowed us to quickly transition to attack, because usually I think teams like Brighton especially, when a defender is in that kind of situation, they'll look to press, because most defenders in that situation will just boot it clear and they'll win the ball back. But Romero was different quality. He knew he was being pressed. He knew he was under pressure. He didn't mind. He was aware of his surroundings, and he made the passes, and those passes were very crucial to Tottenham getting forward as well. And I thought he was in the central role, obviously taking over from Dyer. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He showed leadership as well. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought he played it to perfection. And with a player that's been out for 3 months, to get thrown straight back in to start, you know, he was the player with the most recoveries on the pitch, the most clearances on the pitch, and the highest passing efficiency on the pitch as well. You're talking about 34 accurate passes, which was 97%, 4 long balls, which is 75%, 5 duels won, 9 recoveries, and 5 clearances. I mean, excellent, absolutely brilliant from Christian Romero. So I thought him and Harry Kane were absolutely a cut above the rest yesterday, especially Harry Kane. I thought he was at it from minute 1 yesterday. The passing was on show from Harry Kane. The finishing, that goal for the first goal was just like a throwback to the Kane a few years back. I mean, what a goal that was, that finish in the top corner.
And we have Kane back. There's no doubt about it now. If you're ever in doubt whether Kane is back to his full best, now you see it. I mean, he's scoring these goals for fun. He's central to everything we're doing in the attacking areas now. He's coming again. He's still coming deep. He's still being that number 9 as well. The 2 goals really encapsulated that. One from outside the box, curling into the top corner. One poacher finish while the ball is rolling over the line. He'll be probably disappointed he didn't get more goals, to be honest. There was that one chance where he dinked it over the keeper. I've seen it back again.
Was that to Son, or was that?
Yeah, I
to
can't quite.
shot?
I've seen it again. I still can't figure out whether he's looking for Son or he's looking to dink it, and he just got it wrong, and it just fell to Son. But he'd probably be disappointed he didn't score there. Also in the second half, there were so many counter-attacking opportunities where, you know, if we were clinical enough, we could have got another 3 or 4 goals in those moments. And it wasn't just his fault, but, you know, him, Kulu and Bergwijn kept screwing it up a few times. But I thought Kane, again, his playmaking ability, and not only that, what I love about him as well is he's a focal point. He's a reference point, as Conte likes to call him. Whenever we're in trouble, whenever we're struggling to play out of a press, you know that you can get it to Kane. And recently, anyway, I think at the beginning of the season, he was struggling to really hold on to the ball and hold off defenders. Maybe that was to do with a motivational thing, or maybe I'm not sure, because he's always been a quite physical striker, Kane. But at the beginning of the season, he was quite easily muscled off. He was being bullied by defenders, and now it's completely different. It's switched up. He's now the one physically dominating. He's getting in front of defenders, trapping the ball. The amount of times yesterday. It's invaluable when he does this, by the way. And when a little chip ball into Kane and he gets on his chest, or he traps it on his first touch and just keeps the ball alive, lays it off to someone, and we start an attack. Those moments are invaluable because it sets up so many more attacking opportunities, rather than if Kane gets out-muscled, then we end up losing the ball so much more often. And I think under Conte, he's really developing that side as well, of playing with his back to goal and holding off defenders. And I think he was absolutely, again, brilliant. And off the back of the game against Leicester as well, where I thought that was one of the best performances of the season of any striker. I think it was another really strong showing from Kane.
Yeah, and he's really kind of morphing into that Antonio Conte, that classic Antonio Conte striker now, isn't he? He really is. But
15 goals in all competitions now this season.
15 goals in all competitions.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. But, you still expect at this stage of the season probably more numbers than him from Harry Kane.
Yeah, but come on, he's going to have a strong second half of the season.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
And who is it? I can't remember who I bet with. Some guy in the comments said, I said if he gets 20 league goals, he said he's going to get a tattoo, because I said he's going to hit 20 league goals. You know what? I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him in this one. I think he's on 5.
5. Yeah, 4 or 5, I think.
He's on 5 now, because I think he's on more than 4.
So he needs 15 goals in how many games?
18 games.
18 games.
That's really not impossible.
It's not impossible. It's doable, but it's still a tall order.
5 goals. No, but Kane, he's done that kind of thing before quite regularly. So I really wouldn't
probably score 7 goals in his last 2 games.
He gets 1 hat trick. All of a sudden, that's like 12 in 17. That's really doable. So like
that hat trick's coming on Wednesday night. I'll tell you that.
So like, I'm backing him to get 20 league goals.
Yeah,
definitely.
Look, I can see it. I can see it happening for sure. But back on the game, and it's just so good. I was saying this. I can't remember who. I think I was saying it to you, or I was saying it to Josh last night. That it's just so nice to see a structure about Spurs at the moment. I mean, never mind the wins and the goals and all that kind of stuff. But after being in the wilderness from Jose Mourinho and Nuno and Mason and all these managers coming in,
and also the last 6 months of Poch, you have to say as well.
Yeah, that as well. It's just so good to see that structure of the team again, and it's like the defense every player knows exactly what they're doing on that football pitch. And like, cast your mind back to 6 months ago when nobody on the football pitch knew what they were doing. And it just
seemed like there was no plan, didn't it? It just seemed like it was, when we did win games, it did seem like it was just a piece of individual brilliance and a bit of luck that got us wins a lot of the time. Apart from maybe under Mourinho at his peak, where I felt like there was a structure there, but it wasn't a structure people would like to see. It was just very much sit deep and count and to get the odd counter attack. And I think it worked for a time, but obviously it fell apart.
Yeah.
That structure was
so reliant on individuals, though.
Yeah.
This structure, it's not really reliant on individuals.
It's relied on the system. You can clearly see the wing backs are so far up. Also, the pressing as well. I think yesterday the pressing was a lot more intense than we've seen recently. You can see that with the first goal, winning the ball out of the pitch. Although I know Brighton made a mistake to give us the goal. I think you can see that the pressing structure was very much in play yesterday in a really devastating effect. I think the midfielders were much improved. I think Winks and Højbjerg in the middle actually played really, really well. Yeah. Son and Lucas dropping into those deep central areas to get involved in the play was also really great. And then the wing backs always providing an option. You can see why he doesn't like playing the wing backs more than twice in a week, because the amount he asks of them is so much. They get there's so much energy they're asked to provide. But I still think that with them being there, just being there, they don't even have to. Like, that's why I say, like, I much prefer Emerson to Doherty in that position. As much as Doherty might be a bit better going forward, like, Emerson's always going to be there. Like, he's quite a good athlete.
The natural fitness to get up and down the pitch constantly.
He's always going to be an option on the right hand side, whether the quality's there or not. And that just him being there commands attention, and it opens up spaces, whereas Doherty might struggle to get in those positions on a regular basis.
Completely.
So I think it was great to see, and then the back three operating as they were. I think especially the first half. The first half was brilliant. I thought
Scintillating stuff. Wasn't it?
Amount of chances we created, and also when we get in and around the final third, a bit of creativity, like Kane doing that lovely lob through ball to Son, who should have done better. When I think he tried to square it to someone who put it wide. We were opening Brighton up really, really easily. And Brighton, as I've said before, they're not an easy team to play against. Even if they don't win many games, they don't lose many games, and they're always. The game's always close and tight. They don't usually get blown away, even against the best teams. You see them always, even when they lose, they usually play well. And they did have a period about 10 minutes into the second half where they were getting back into it. But apart from that, it was literally all Tottenham. Yeah. They were completely dominant yesterday, Spurs.
I mean, first half was there was only one team in it. I was so happy with that first half performance. Really, really, really strong. I mean, Brighton hardly had a sniff at all in that first half. Second half, they changed their system. They came out with a bit more belief, and they did give us problems for those 10, 15 minutes.
It was only one player, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Which player was that?
Basuma. He was brilliant, especially after 15 shots.
One forced a really good save out Hugo. The other one off Højbjerg obviously goes into the back.
Yeah, but he was. If we had him, it would be a different story, honestly, because. He was, for Brighton especially, he was a cut above the rest. I thought he was brilliant yesterday, Basuma, and he was really unlucky to be on the losing side. I thought he played really well. And he's one player that, obviously he's got things against him right now, so I don't know whether I like him at Tottenham, but as a player I would. He's absolutely brilliant. So, if he gets that stuff cleared up, then maybe, but I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was amazing.
He was very good. But, even so, they came back into the game, they got their goal, we hit them back straight away. And as soon as we hit them back, as soon as we scored that goal, it was back to total domination, really.
Yeah, because Brighton were building up a bit of momentum before they got their goal. So you're thinking once that goal goes in, you're like, oh, is it going to be a long half an hour? It's 30 minutes.
Feel a bit of anxiety creep into the fan base in the stadium, couldn't you?
They cut the deficit in half, and they're the ones in the driving seat. You're thinking, how are we going to react to that? But we reacted really well. We did, and it wasn't just the goal we scored. I mean, we scored it pretty quickly, but as soon as they scored, we were back on the front foot. And that goal as well, the third goal, those Sonny on his first game back from injury, Conte said he only wanted to give him 65, 70 minutes. And I think that was probably the last thing he did was that goal. And how he just burst past Webster, got him behind, and he obviously caused chaos in the back line, which allowed the ball to nearly fall into the back of the net from an own goal, and Kane put it in. But that was a brilliant piece of play from Son, because he had three players around him. I remember I was looking at the piece of play, I was like, Son, release it. You got three players around you. Come on, you got to release it. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. But he used that searing pace that he had to get past Webster.
Yeah, that pace there, but he got a tiny bit lucky after that with a few
he got lucky, but he caused his own luck.
Yeah, of course he did.
Because he caused the chaos to get in there.
There was a bit of a throwback to, I mean, he didn't run anywhere near as much as that goal, but the Burnley goal where he just breezes past players, what I mean?
It was like that last moment when he just goes past the last defender. It was very similar.
That turn of pace to get past Webster, that last man, was absolutely sensational. It really
and as I was saying, that was also, you could argue, where he was maybe at his most tired, because I think he went off very soon after that. So to do that, when Conte said he could only last 70 minutes, was very, very impressive. But it was good to take him off, because we need him. We've got a lot of big games coming up, and we're definitely going to need Son. But great to have him back. And I actually think Son was pretty good throughout the whole 90 minutes.
He had his hand in the first goal. He's the one that won the ball high up the pitch to relieve. I can't remember who he was it to Højbjerg.
Højbjerg, who then found Kane.
So he had a hand in that goal. Obviously, he had a hand in Kane's second goal, which we just talked about. So, I thought Sonny was really good, really strong performance, especially coming back in his first game from injury. We didn't talk about the goal from Emerson last night. I mean, he as well had a massive run. I mean, what was it, halfway into our half, he picks it up.
Pretty much, he ran half the length of the pitch,
He ran it all down to the byline, crosses it in, it gets a massive deflection off Solly March, and creeps in at the back post, hits the side netting.
But his celebration,
I was about to say, his celebration, I mean, he looked angry. running off the pitch. Then Sonny comes up to him and he starts smiling at Sonny, and then straight away as he goes past Sonny, back to that angry face again. I mean, what do you think that was yesterday with Emerson?
Yeah, I mean,
is it a reaction to the fan base or across social media?
I don't know if it was someone specific. He's like a coach or something. Maybe they've, because sometimes, a bit like Mourinho, how he would say things to players to try and get a reaction from them. Maybe there's a coach or something. I don't know. It's pure speculation. Maybe Conte. It didn't seem to be aimed at Conte though, but it could be. Conte was asked about it obviously in his press conference. He had an interesting answer. He said, he said Emerson needed that goal. He said he really needed that goal, and for his confidence and everything. And he said he thought his performance was top notch, and he played a really good game, and he believes he's a very good player. And look, Emerson has come in for a lot of criticism. Since he signed for Tottenham, despite the fact for me, he's been here 6 months. He's had some good games. He's had some poor games, but I think people have been very quick to judge him very, very harshly because in a few games his crossing hasn't been great. Even though he's had a few assists, and in a few games as well, he's created some chances. So, he's also adapting to a new role, and he's adapting to a new country, and he was also probably not even expecting to join Tottenham. Before was it a deadline day we signed him, or just before deadline day?
Just before, but exactly. He just signed as he had that big ceremony opening at the new camp.
Yeah, so it was this whole thing is all very new to him, and as well, not only that, he's had one manager where he's playing right back, and he's learning to play one way, which I didn't even think he was too bad under Nuno. And then all of a sudden it's all switched up, and now he's at right wing back, and he's asked to do a lot more attacking than he was before. And before under Nuno, you'd probably say his role was 70% defending and 30% attacking. And now all of a sudden it's 70% attacking and 30% defending, and he has to try and adapt to that. And I don't think he's doing too bad. I don't think he's been awful or terrible or he's been that bad where people are ready to give up on him. And I don't even think we wanted a right wing back because we didn't believe in Emerson. We wanted a right wing back because we needed competition in that role. We don't
believe in Doherty.
Exactly. It's more Doherty than Emerson. And as long as Emerson's fit, I'm not saying he's perfect and we're going to be fine, but I don't think he's that as bad as people are saying. And I think he needs confidence. He needs that belief. And I think that was maybe that started getting to him, all that criticism he was getting after 6 months. So maybe that was a bit of relief getting that goal for him yesterday. And I think he's definitely a good athlete. You saw that with the goal. People criticize him for not taking on his man enough. Well, he did that yesterday for that goal anyway. And maybe that's something he has to do more. But I think he definitely needs to be cut some slack, Emerson, and hopefully he can have a much better second half of the season, because I believe he's got quality there. I think he can be a good player for us. I haven't seen enough yet to show me he's going to be our long-term right back for years to come. I haven't seen that yet, but I've definitely seen enough to show me he can be a very good option for us right now.
Yeah, well said, because I think that someone coming from a foreign league, never playing that position before, it's always going to take them time to bed in. And if it doesn't take them time to bed in, that's kind of not the standard case, more of a 1 off, 2 off, 3 off to very, very top players. But a player of his age coming into a new league, new position and what have you, I think he's doing all right. So I think people just need to get off his back a little bit.
And he was up against Cucurella as well. I don't remember anything Cucurella did throughout the whole game. I thought he dealt with him pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And 2 more players I want to talk about are 2 new signings in Kulaszewski and Bentancur. Let's start off with Kulaszewski because he got a bit more time. I mean, he saw a lot of the ball, didn't he, when he came on? I thought a couple of counter-attacks kind of slowed down with him and broke down with him. But I did think he showed a couple of nice moments on the ball. And he did seem a bit slow on the ball yesterday, but I would say, a lot of people are saying he looked really slow yesterday, but I thought that when he did get the ball, he looked slow. But then when he looked to take on his man, I actually thought there was a bit of a turn of pace there.
I was about to say, I think off the ball, he looked a bit slow. He had so much space to run into, and he wouldn't run into it. He was always wanting the ball to feet, and then all of a sudden he gets it and he's looking for a pass because the space is gone. But when he did get the ball, it's weird. He seems quicker on the ball than he is off the ball.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Which is actually something that I read on. Apparently, that's one of his traits. He looks a lot quicker on the ball than off the ball. And a few times he would cut inside, and it's almost like you know what he's going to do, but it was hard to stop. And a few times he cut inside, and the fullback just couldn't get the tackle in, and he either got a shot off or he got a pass on. And obviously, he set up Bergwijn for that chance, which he blazed over the bar. I think clearly the technical quality, you can see he's got a lot of that. I think a few times a ball was. I remember Davis played a really long ball to him, and he took it down brilliantly, and he's clearly got high technical ability. And also, I think he ended the game in a more central area than he did actually out wide in a weird way. So look, it was only I think it was a 25-minute spell. You can't read too much into it early days, but you got 2 key passes. He had a few dribbles. Like, I think he did quite a bit, although it was against tiring defenders, and they were throwing caution to the wind, so there was always going to be a bit more space for him. But I don't think he did too badly. He'll be probably a bit disappointed that he didn't get a goal or an assist given the amount of opportunities he had.
You know what that reminds me of, when it's like he's not slow, but like not as fast off the ball as he is on the ball. It reminds me a bit of the old Arsenal winger Robert Pires. Because I felt like he was a bit similar to that, where once he got on the ball, his mind is very quick and he could move a bit faster on the ball, but off the ball he didn't seem like the fastest guy on the pitch. So I mean, Robert Pires, as much as people probably don't want to hear it, because he's an Arsenal player, an Arsenal legend, he was a top player. Yeah. Absolutely top player. Scored against Spurs bucket loads, and I think if he can do half of what Robert Pires did in the Premier League, we've got a proper top player on our hands. Yeah,
but yeah, I think it was. Look, it was only a short cameo, but I think it's hard to make too many judgments. But I liked what I saw from Kulu, and look, he's going to have more time. He's only been on 2 training sessions. You got to remember that. Conte will know what to do with him, and he seems like a player. Also, physically, he was strong. He was able to hold players off. He'll just be a bit disappointed. It wasn't so much his pace I was a bit disappointed with. I think a couple of times he had options to feed Bergwijn in, and he just got it a bit wrong. He was playing it behind him and stuff.
One time he did feed Bergwijn in, Bergwijn completely skied it.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, but he'll have to improve his decision making and stuff. But they'll come with time, and I'm looking forward to what he can do.
Yeah, completely agree. And Bentancur, probably the moment of the game, or the skill of the game, should I say, just in front of his own box. He picks up the ball, players come rushing to him. He drags the ball behind his leg to the other side of his other leg, and it was just so nice to see. Completely, he was under so much pressure, and so calmly he gets the ball and just drags the ball away from the attacker. It was so good to see. And I thought Bentancur, I was actually a lot more. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more, but I was more impressed with Bentancur than I was with Kulaszewski.
Yeah, again, he only had 13 minutes, but he was pretty good actually. When he came off the bench, he was very much composed in the round. He's actually won the ball back quite a few times in central midfield. He was not only that, but again, similar to Romero, when he's being pressed, he doesn't mind that, and he was actually able to pick out a few passes into attacking transitions, which allowed us to attack. And a few times the counter-attacks late in the game was down to Bentancur. And I think the difference between someone like Kulu and Bentancur is, you've got to remember with Bentancur, he's been a regular starter for Juventus for about 4 years, for 4 or 5 years now. And he's won league titles. He's been regular starters in teams that won leagues and stuff. So he's very comfortable. He's probably very confident in himself when he's in central midfield. Because when you're playing for a team like Juventus, you're playing at top level, high level games, and you're starting regularly, it's going to be a case where you're being pressed and you're being surrounded in and around, in the high pressure situations. And he's been used to that for very many years, playing at that kind of level. And you can see that confidence, that lack of he was always willing to look for a pass. He had so much composure about him. Kulu's a bit different because he's been at Juventus for 18 months, but he hasn't been a constant fixture in the side. And he's still kind of trying to prove himself. Whereas Bentancur seemed to have that confidence about him, where and that composure in tight situations, and that confidence to play out of those situations, which is really great, and we need that in a central midfield.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he's 3 years older than Kulaszewski, so he's got those 3 years of development behind him. He's been playing consistently for a Juventus team that were winning titles, winning trophies consistently, in a central midfield, which is a very important role. So he's got an old head on him for the age he is, 24 years old. He looks very calm, composed. And I think he's going to be a player which is going to take to his fan base very quickly, or the fan base is going to take to him very quickly.
And maybe we can appreciate him more than Juventus did, because I think, for by and large, from what I hear from Juve fans, it wasn't so much that they didn't think he was good. It was more that he had been there for 4 years, and they wanted him to be more of a leader and take more responsibility. And for one reason or another, it didn't happen. But maybe at Tottenham, a bit of a smaller club, maybe the stakes aren't as high, maybe he can be a bit more appreciated.
Yeah, and with Antonio Conte at the helm as well, you got to say you back him to improve him massively.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we are through into the next round. Middlesbrough await us in the 5th round away at the Riverside. So yeah, good draw for us in my opinion. It's not an easy draw, but I think it's a good draw in terms of some of the teams that we could have got. We've avoided the big boys. But look, really good performance yesterday, really good result, good feeling around the club now, good feeling in the fan base. Looks like there's a good feeling in the team as well. So that is our match review. Let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts are on the game.